Good evening, Board and Chair. My name is Preston Baxter, and I do reside at 660 Hyacinth Street in Zone 1. I'm happy to have this opportunity to provide a statement in regards to the materials that I provided earlier with regards to my interest in the vacancy of Board of Directors. Many experiences have led up to my decision to submit this letter, and repeatedly I was asking myself, well, why am I interested? And so I was able to reflect on some of the reasons for my interest, but ultimately they all came down to the same thing. I'm the kind of person who wants to be part of the solution to make things better. Now, I'm sure that desire alone is no different than anyone else on the board or anyone else who would like to be on the board. So hopefully my brief statement today will offer some other information that maybe won't get encapsulated on a bullet item on a resume or in a short letter. In other words, this is my election week stump speech. So I'd like to go through, if I might, some things that I have learned through my various experiences. As a team leader for a volunteer community service group, I learned firsthand the impact of concerned and motivated citizens. I had seen community members talking with and training friends and neighbors in emergency preparedness, preparing their families for natural disasters, and ordinary citizens acquiring skills they would need to provide service to their community members during any number of catastrophic events. In other words, neighbors helping neighbors. And this is how I view the role of the school board directors. As community members yourselves, the overall goal is obviously to enhance the opportunities and learning environment for your neighbors. As a father, I'm constantly reminded that I don't know everything. Of course, that realization shouldn't and doesn't dissuade me from trying to continue learning, growing, and becoming more capable. As a very new board member, I understand that there will be much to learn, and I'm ready and willing to make that happen. And for example, it's just one small step. I have started attending meetings in other districts just to get an idea of how they might be running their meetings and the culture that they have developed, and hopefully glean some of the good ideas that might be used here. In my mind, learning from the successes of others is a powerful tool if we're willing to use it. As a musician, I know that beautiful music can only be created when the group is united in purpose, approach, and style. Now, to be sure, there are individual players with separate roles and distinct skills, but only when they are all in agreement on the important aspects can a piece become a true success. In my mind, creating an environment of inclusion, transparency, understanding, and mutual respect between our teachers, administration, staff, the community, and the board must be the highest priority for all of us. As a member, and later as a chairman, for an employee advisory committee representing over 400 of my coworkers, I learned the importance of communication, and communication. We work closely with various group leaders, facilities staff, administrators, bureaucrats, and a host of others to plan many successful events, provide feedback to corporate leadership, and just provide an ear for those who needed someone to listen to them. In my experience, criticisms of our group were most often due to a lack of proactive and clear communication from one or more sides. The complaints were always based on problems, either real or perhaps only perceived. As chairman, I needed to personally discuss, understand, and ultimately deal with the real problems. And our group enhanced overall communication to deal with the perceived ones. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get as much practice dealing with the compliments as I thought we deserved, and I suppose that scenario might sound rather familiar to many. As a Boy Scout leader, I often saw the payoff of hard work. A few years ago, we took a group of young men on a week-long bike ride, fully loaded with camping gear and traveling equipment. All the planning in the world could not replace what was really required, which was a lot of practice and hard work. For example, Eagle Scouts require years of hard work, leadership, and learning. The outcome of this type of hard work is well worth the effort. Reestablishing and fostering a successful, open, and positive environment within our district is and will be well worth whatever effort is required. As an active part of my children's education, I have learned the importance of standing up for what you think is right. Sometimes this is as simple as a casual conversation with a teacher. On the other extreme, I've given testimony to an Oregon House and Senate Joint Task Force when I thought the work was headed in the wrong direction. Often those who are making the decisions may not be aware of every consequence of their work, but being willing to hear, discuss, understand, and mitigate issues arising from outside feedback is a must for any successful organization. You may have seen in my materials that I'm a member of a military unit, and as a senior leader in that unit, I expect follow-through and accountability from my soldiers, and they expect the same from me. When instructions are given, completion of that assignment is expected as the norm. As a board member, I will hold myself to no lower standard. And lastly, as a licensed professional engineer, I know the importance of attention to detail and taking responsibility for one's actions. When my team and I complete a project, my stamp and signature go on the cover page. By doing so, I am stating that we have followed all the rules, regulations, codes, and done due diligence to the best of our ability. If questions arise during construction, I am rightly the first one called. If mistakes were made, I would be the one to account for them. Few groups, in my mind, should be more attentive to detail than the school board, charged with representing their friends and neighbors and overseeing the expenditure of tax dollars and helping create a safe and uplifting environment. And I might add, based on what I saw tonight, this room is full of the smartest people in the city. Hence, accountability is a high standard to me. Although I run the risk of sounding self-centered, I do have many more things that I've listed about myself that I've learned, but in the interest of time, I'm going to skip the last pages. But in conclusion, I hope this short statement gives you some additional insight into some of my motivations, experiences, and approaches of my personal, professional, and military life. My resume, the letter of interest, and this statement hopefully demonstrate that all of my roles ultimately boil down to being a full-time problem solver and a full-time communicator. And these same skills and attributes will be fully brought to bear as a member of the school board of directors if elected. I'm honestly not here for the pay. I have no visions of glory, no illusion that there will be an unending stream of kudos from the community. However, I am excited to offer the skills and experiences of someone with a unique background and hope to join the board of directors' efforts in building up our district and community. Thank you.
Thank you. Paige Gorman.
Hello? Can everyone hear me? Okay. I'm Paige Gorman. I live at 219 Grand Street in Independence. And when I heard that Betty was leaving this position, I decided to run for the interim position because I felt like it would be a great way for me to show my support for the community. We moved here to Independence about 5 years ago. And since then, we bought a house, and my son Noah has started kindergarten at Independence Elementary. And before he went to school there, I actually had the privilege to work there part-time a few years ago, and I absolutely loved that experience. What I've noticed about all of the schools that I've had a chance to kind of get to know the people there is they all seem like a family, and all of the staff is there for the kids, and I think that's fantastic, and you sometimes don't find that in the bigger school districts, and I really admire that about this one. So anyway, now that my son is in school and this position became vacant, I thought that it would be a great way for me to show my support, deep commitment, and passion for this school district. And while I don't have as much experience, I do have the dedication. I would be a valuable board member for a variety of reasons, but one of them is that I am willing to look at things from different perspectives. I work hard, but ultimately, I want to see the children in this community, and therefore the community at large, really thrive. Thank you for your consideration and this opportunity.